download our Revise It Right revision app for hundreds of videos, quizzes, exam questions, tutor support, and so much more. This video is about percentage yield. Now, when we're talking about the yield, we're talking about the amount of product formed. So, for example, if we know that we're reacting A and B and we're going to get C and D, then the yield will be the amount of C and D that we have. Okay, or the amount of C if we were after C, or the amount of D. That would be the yield. Percentage yield is therefore the actual yield of the reaction compared to the maximum theoretical yield, given as a percentage. Okay, the higher this percentage is, means the closer to the maximum theoretical yield that you have. And it's obviously going to be somewhere between 0 and 100%. You cannot have more than 100% of a percentage yield. If you get 100% in a percentage yield, that means you've got all the products that you expected to get. And we'll talk in a second as to why that's very, very unlikely and never happens. But the equation then to calculate percentage yield is percentage yield is equal to the mass of the product made, and that's in grams, divided by the maximum theoretical mass of the product, and again that's in grams. Okay, so percentage yield is equal to the mass of the product made divided by the maximum theoretical mass of the product. And let's go through then a worked example. So we have a reaction with a theoretical yield of 50 grams, but it only produces 35 grams of a product. So what is the percentage yield? Well, we know that the percentage yield is going to be equal to the mass of the product made divided by the mass of the theoretical, and therefore the mass of the product made is 35 grams. So we've actually made 35 grams, so that's 35. And the mass of the theoretical is 50, so we're going to do 35 divided by 50. Of course, we're going to times these by 100 to get them into a percentage. So 35 divided by 50 is 0.7, times by 100, we therefore get 70%. Okay, so the percentage yield of this reaction is 70%. We got 70% of the product. That was the maximum, most we could possibly get. Remember to download our Revise It Right revision app, watch over 700 videos, answer 4,000 plus quiz questions, over 1,000 flashcards, 1,000 exam questions, worksheets, forums, and get help from qualified teachers, and so much more. The link is in the description. Now, as I said, percentage yield is never 100%, and there are many potential reasons for this. The first of which is if the reaction is reversible. Reversible reactions are one where the products can form reactants. So if we have an A plus B produces, that's the symbol here for reversible reactions, C plus D, what's going to happen is A and B are going to react to form C and D. But if it's a reversible reaction, C and D can also react with each other to form A and B. So if we have a reversible reaction, we're never going to have 100% of the yield because some of the products are going to react to form some of the reactants. Now, another reason is if the product is lost when separated. So think about when you're pouring a liquid into a container, or think about when you're pouring milk into your cereal. You can never get 100% because some always remains. So some milk will always remain in the bottle, however hard you try. And this is the same in chemical reactions. When you're trying to separate the product you want from the other products, you will lose some. And number 3, unexpected reactions may be happening. Sometimes side reactions can occur. These are unexpected reactions that may occur. For example, perhaps the reactants or products will react with something in the air, which is going to lower the yield. So again, in this scenario, say we've got A and B, and we're producing C and D, and say that C is very reactive and it reacts with the oxygen in the air. That is going to decrease our percentage yield because some of it's going to be lost and it's going to react in the air to form another product. Okay, so these are 3 reasons, and we do have to know these as to why the percentage yield is never 100%. The reaction could be reversible, the product could be lost when separated, or unexpected reactions may be happening. So here are some summary questions. Pause the video to have a go. Okay, let's go through the answers then. So what do we mean by the yield of a chemical reaction? Well, it's the amount of product formed. What does the percentage yield of a chemical reaction tell you? Well, it tells you the amount of product made compared to the theoretical maximum product that you could make. How do you calculate percentage yield? Well, it's of course percentage yield is equal to the mass of product made in grams divided by the maximum theoretical mass of product times by 100. And finally, name 4 factors that can affect the yield of a chemical reaction. This, of course, meant 3. So name 3 factors that affect the yield of a chemical reaction. Well, you could have if the reaction is reversible, if the product is lost when separated, or if there are any unexpected reactions. Essentially these here. So if the reaction is reversible, if the product is lost when separated, and if there are any unexpected reactions that may be happening. So we've now looked at a video on percentage yield. There are plenty of practice questions on the website, and as ever, if there's anything you didn't understand, get in contact with a tutor who will happily help.